Hello, everybody. In our ethics and sports class, I'm Tyrone Shelly. I'll be presenting the quality of character. The trait that I selected was loving. Um, so we're going to break down the definition of loving and talk about me as a coach, me as a professional, me as an athlete, and showing love to my players. So the definition of loving: feeling or showing love, warmly affectionate. This has everything to do with the sport of basketball, um, especially if you're a good person and you want to help others and lead them in the right direction. I feel like loving plays a huge part in this, and it's a reason why a lot of kids make it, a lot of coaches make it in the industry because their characteristic is loving. The passion came from the love for the game. I loved everything about it. Again, this goes back to loving uh, and having a passion for what you do. So for me, the sport of basketball, I fell in love with it at a young age. Uh, I wasn't very good at basketball. I actually shot it over the rim on my first tryout ever, and I was scared I wasn't going to make the team. But once I finally made the team, it was a passion of mine to never do that ever again. Uh, so the drive, the love for the sport drove me to ultimately getting the Division One offer years later and the opportunity to play at the Division One level. Uh, so if I didn't have the love for the game or love what I was doing or love the people that were around me at the time helping me get there, I don't think I possibly could have made it. So love impacted me and gave me the ability to push forward, play harder, work on my game continuously, and ultimately drove me into being a professional and now into a coach. These pictures right here of me coaching from this past year, love for the game of basketball. Again, we're going to talk about love a lot on these slides. As you see, my players are locked in on me. Uh, they're cheering each other on because that's what I teach. I think building a program of love, trust, um, can take you very, very far in this industry. So as you see, all my players that surround me, there's going to be days that they don't like me, but they're always going to have love for me. A loving coach. Leaders believe in the powers of unconditional love to positively impact and change human behavior. Because as a leader, this is what I want to stand by. To show unconditional love in a positive way to my players. Uh, you'll get more out of them, because when you're dealing with people with different backgrounds and uh, trying to help them be successful or lead them to a situation that you maybe didn't have as a coach, and you understand the guidelines of how to navigate these kids to those type of measures, this is where love comes in. And to change human behavior. Because when you show love to somebody, that opens them up, that makes them more bubbly, that makes them want to learn, that makes them want to work hard for you, that makes them want to be around you. So I think that's a huge quote down here. Coaching is a profession of love. You can't coach people unless you love them. Eddie Robinson, big time HBCU coach, and this shows why you won a lot of games at the HBCU. You love it. Uh, it's a profession, and you got to have love for the people that you're around. Or when it comes to recruiting, you want to recruit people that fit into your scheme, your game plans, but you also want to recruit good people. And just like parents want a good coach that's going to do their kids right, show remorse for their kids. Players want a coach that isn't just going to be on them all the time. Like, where's the love at? So that's why I think this quote is a great quote. You can't coach people unless you love them. A loving coach helping others. A coach sometimes is someone that sees beyond your limits and guides you to greatness. Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan became one of the best players in the world when he got Phil Jackson as a basketball coach. And Jordan would tell you all types of great stories about Phil Jackson and how he cared and he loved for Michael Jordan. And Michael Jordan felt the same way about him, so they put each other in a situation for Phil Jackson to be one of the best coaches in the NBA, and Michael Jordan being, the GOAT, the greatest of all time. Because, your coach is the person that's supposed to be in your life, because in certain situations, kids don't have parents. They don't have a loving, guiding support set in place for them. So sometimes, like for myself, I work at the JUCO level, so you never know what a kid's background is. Sometimes you get kids straight out of high school. Sometimes you get kids that took 4 or 5 years off, and they don't know their situation. They don't know where they're headed. Don't have both parents anymore, or don't live at home anymore. So as a head coach, you have to guide them on and off the court to greatness, to being a better person, and to showing compassion and love for these kids. Becoming a mentor, filling a void for students and players. Again, I have come across players that were sleeping in their car. I came across players that situation at home wasn't right, but they find comfort in telling me these things because they know I care about them, I have love for them, and I want their situations to be better. So I find different resources that can help these kids get to where they need to be, so they're not struggling or doing things that they shouldn't be doing. A loving coach, be the one situation in their lives where they know the exact expectation, can count on consistency, and feel good about themselves. They need to know you are their ally as long as you are getting their best effort and behavior. This resonates so much to me. Be the one situation in their lives. So as their coach, you became a father figure. Whether it's in women's sports, men's sports, you are a father figure in a sense. So you want these kids to feel comfortable enough to come to you, be honest with you, and in doing so, they want to feel the love, the comfort, the respect, so where they can come to you and talk to you about any situation that they're involved in, and then give best. Then you, as a coach, you want them to give you your best effort for being there. It's not like you need anything for these players. You just want them to go as hard as possible so they can change their situation. And this resonates with me again because the player that I had that was in the car, he didn't have to tell me that as his coach. He could have just showed up every single day, battled the things that were going on with him outside of the basketball, and come in and give me great effort because he's a great kid. But the fact that he came to me and he trusted in me to let me know his living situation was big time. So that shows me that nurturing these kids, caring about these kids, respecting these kids, and showing love toward these kids could possibly change their thought process and ultimately their situation. And this kid that I talked about, now he's probably about to go to a Division II school next year. He has one more year with me. I also sat down with his parent. Now he's back inside the home living with them. So now the dynamic of his life has changed for him coming to me and telling me about a situation where that was very tough for him. But so for myself, the consistency and being that one situation person that you can help a player change and have them understand that you are here to help. Helping a young man and woman understand the difference between right and wrong behavior and teaching them to have the courage to live by these standards makes the act of coaching an expression of love. So every day before practice, I do a quote of the day. So for the quote of the day, I always have a quote to where they can live by, a standard, as this quote is stated. Right or wrong, you got to know the difference between right or wrong, whether it's in a scheme for basketball, knowing how to make the right rotations, or understanding when you took a shot when you shouldn't have took a shot at the beginning of a shot clock, and for my rules, I want you to run like 25 seconds off the shot clock before you take a shot. So understanding those type of rules and understanding like in life, you got to know the difference between in life and in basketball because I feel like you can take what you learn from basketball and use it in your everyday life. Being a good person, being a good kid, being a good student, being good to your parents. So also like to have my players have that knowledge that you can understand right and wrong, and you can do right by yourself and by others. A good coach can change the game. A great coach can change the life. John Wooden. So this is where I'm at in my life. Right now, I'm still learning how to be a great coach and being able to dissect the game and changing the dynamic of a game with my coaching philosophy, my coaching style. So I'm still learning that as well. But this is what I like. A great coach can change your life because I'm in this to change lives. I know I had some hardships, as a young kid trying to become a professional. I know how hard it was. And then I look at my life like, hey, I had the Division I scholarship, so it was kind of easy for me. I played on one of the best AAU teams in California, so that kind of made it easier for me. So when I go to the JUCO level and coach, and these kids aren't Division I athletes, they aren't Division II athletes, they're not getting NIL deals, and their situations are so much, I don't want to say less, but it's not where they expect it to be coming out of high school. So being a great coach has changed a lot. So I'm in it to change lives. Like I said about the previous player, now he's back at home. I helped him get a Division II scholarship and all for my other players. A loving coach creates a positive culture, showing mutual respect to players and others, upholds ethical values and morals, inclusivity, builds trust within the team, the players, and others. I think that's a big time thing. And building a culture, positive culture. So for us, we always clap. Even if you're in line waiting, we clap. We cheer our teammates on. We say positive things. We know in the sport of basketball it's very competitive. And once you get competitive, you turn to get a little negative. So instead of being negative, be positive. Go to your teammate. Let them know what they did wrong, without yelling, without screaming, without putting your head down, without showing them that you messed up. And they know when you mess up, you messed up. You don't want to let your teammates down. So when guys make a bad pass or turn the ball over, and the whole team is like pouting, basically, I try to eliminate that. They know they messed up, so they say, hey, you got it next time. Give them a high five. Cheer when you're on the bench. Don't be sitting there pouting because you're sitting on the bench. Cheer your teammates on. So you always want to build a positive culture, and when you do that, that builds trust within your team. That makes them want to come back every single day because they know I don't want to mess up. I don't want to let my teammates down. But if it does happen, my teammates got my back. They'll pick me up. An environment built on respect, responsibility, with the passion, leadership, and love is the bedrock of servant leadership. When you build an environment built off of love, respect, and passionate as being a leader, that can go far. That can go into relationships, values. That can go into sports. That can go into a lot of things. So when you build this, that is like the staple of an environment that you want to build, because you want to be a great leader, and the way you can be a great leader is just have love, have a heart, have a loving heart, a loving coach. So this is me when I was back in college with Steve Fisher, Hall of Fame coach at Michigan, the University of Michigan, and San Diego State. When I first got to San Diego State, this is how much Steve Fisher loved me, and he had a passion for coaching. He had a passion for the brand of San Diego State, which he was trying to build. So I went to Pepperdine University my freshman year. I stepped on campus and I had all Adidas gear on. So Pepperdine was sponsored by Adidas, and Nike just signed a contract for Nike. So I'm walking around with Adidas gear on, and Steve Fisher sits me down. He was like, hey, listen, don't throw everything Adidas away. Don't ever wear it on campus anymore, because now you are representing us and Nike, and you want to represent yourself in the right way, and by wearing Nike, which we are now. So to me, this showed me that he respects his brand because he didn't allow me to wear this to show that he cared about me, and he showed me that it was bigger than basketball. Marketing is huge nowadays, and just him as a coach. I got the job as the head coach at Southwestern College. Steve Fisher left me a long voicemail congratulating me, and I still have it on my phone. So it was one of the special moments to where he's bigger than basketball for him. He's all about caring for his players, loving his players, showing up for his players. If I ever needed him on a resume, he'll probably sign off on it. Great character, high morals, high value type of guy. And he's one of the reasons why I got into coaching as well, because he's a loving coach. Another story, I fractured my hand right before a game, and the next day we had practice. So I'm in there shooting, thinking everything's fine, knowing my finger is hurting. And I kind of just looked back at him, and he's just standing at half court, just watching our group workout, you know. And I didn't think anything of it. Then he's like, "Tyrone, come here." And then I'm just like, "Oh man, I must be in trouble. What did I do?" And he's like, "I've been watching you shoot the whole entire time. That's not how you shoot. What's wrong with you?" And I showed him my thumb. And then he's like, "I already figured that. You already set up upstairs. Go get X-ray." And I'm just like, "Wow, coach! Like you actually have to care about a person to already predetermine or understand what was going on with me." And I thought nothing of it. I was just gonna go to practice and work out. And he wrapped my finger up. And he's like, "No, I care too much about you, your future, for you to continue to play through pain. Go get an X-ray, and come to find out I broke my finger." Coach's worth isn't found in their wins or losses and records or on their resume, but in the impact they made it on the game and in their players' lives. Again, like Steve Fisher, he made it. It's not about the wins or losses. It's not about the record. Although that does matter for a coach, especially if you're trying to move up. But they also look at how many players have you helped as far as getting Division I scholarships, helped off the court, that come back to you because they have love for you. So I understand I'm impacting my players' life when every offseason, every summer, all my players that I coached in the past, they all come back and work out with my new guys. So this whole summer I have old players coming in working out with my guys. And my assistant coach said, "There's something about you," because when I used to play, he's like, I didn't go back to my high school or my college to say what's up to my coach. So the fact that your players are coming back here shows that you showed them love, you showed them respect, and they have love for you to continue to come back, work out with your guys. And the fact that you, Tyrone, this is what he's telling me, the fact that you come back, you contact your players, you check on them, check about their well-being is huge. And he's like, "I wish I would have had a coach like you growing up." That is the end of my slides. Thank you all for listening. I hope you have a good night.